Hello, everybody. Today I'll be showing a quick tutorial on how to get started with your Arnett Creek mapping in ArcGIS. So I'm going to go through the workflow of importing your StraboSpot shapefiles into ArcGIS and creating the map. So here is the Arnett Creek mapping package that we already have pre-built for you. First thing we want to do is switch over to our data view. Okay, so you'll have sort of just this blank map in GeoDatabase that already has the map units in for you. So in order to import our StraboSpot files, first thing we're going to do is go to our catalog. And I sent you guys all a folder that contains all your StraboSpot files. So what you're going to have to do is hit this plus, connect to folder, find that folder wherever you stored it in your PC, and then you open it up. And so notice we have lines, points, and polygons. So let's start first with the lines. We're just going to drag them over into mapping. And we're just going to ignore this reference for a bit. So notice we have these blue lines. So these are what I have drawn in on StraboSpot, but they're blue right now. They're not really looking too good as a map. So what we want to do is we're going to go into line properties. And just as good practice, it's good to rename this Strabo lines, just so you don't get confused with some of the other features we have in here. So we'll hit apply. Next thing you want to do is go over to your symbology. So we want to match this symbology to these contacts and faults. Let me show you. So we already pre-built all of these symbologies for you. So we want to just match these Strabo lines to the pre-existing style. So we'll go into symbology, categories. We're going to import from which layer we want to go after the contacts and faults. Hit OK. This value field, we want to do trace feature. So hit OK. So now it's matched our symbols. That's all good. We're just going to hit apply and OK. So now notice that the lines are actually black, and if you drew them in as approximate like these, they've actually taken the dashed form as they would have looked in Strabo. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we want to import our strike and dip orientation points. So we're going to go to our catalog and we're going to go to points. Same thing, we're going to drag those over here underneath mapping. And just ignore this for now. So then we notice that a bunch of points pop up on our screen. But again, we don't want purple dots, we want strike and dip symbols. So in order to fix that, we're going to go into our properties here. And what we want to do is actually get a special type of symbol. So in order to get the strike and dip symbols, we want to go to style references. And we want to add a style to the list. So we gave you this ASU field style V2. If you click on that, open, hit OK. Now here's some symbols that we actually want to use. So these dots are going to become our strike and dip symbols. So we'll use inclined bedding, hit OK, apply. Now notice that all of those dots turned into strike and dip symbols. However, they're all oriented north-south. So in order to fix the proper rotation, we're going to go back into our properties. And this advanced, we're going to go to rotation. And this is going to be defined by our PO strike. So this is data from StraboSpot. If we hit OK, apply, now notice that our strike and dips are actually oriented based on the strike that we had recorded. If you had orientation points that weren't strike and dip symbols and you want to get rid of them, what you need to do is go start the editor, and we're going to do the points and then hit continue. If we open up our attribute table and we scroll over to the end where we have PO strike, PO dip, if you had any points that were just points and didn't have strike and dip values, what you do is you would just sort the strikes by descending, And anything that has 0 value for strike and dip, you just highlight and then you right click and you can go delete. So that would get rid of any of the sort of erroneous points. Mine have already been filtered out. Okay, so next thing we can do is, just going to turn off my editor. We can also import our polygons. So this isn't actually super useful for us because we're going to actually be constructing all of our own polygons. But if you wanted to see sort of for reference, you can do the same thing with the lines and points, just drag them over